right. Hello, hello. You're only here for cat and then make fun of AI. Well, those are both things that we can do today. Well, okay, we can do cat until cat is okay. Well, small amount of cat. Um, I I have his treats here, but I need like some training thing to give him to I never give him food unless it's like food time, or it's you know he does something. I know. Maybe he'll come back. He just opened the door and left. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't close the door because like he gets really upset whenever there's a closed door, like cats do. Also, it's colder on this side of the house until the afternoon. So ironically, if I did my streams in the afternoons or evenings, it would be a lot warmer in here. So maybe that's also it too. Uh, hmm. Food for thought for this. Hello, Asitsu. How are you doing today? Cats universally hate closed doors. It's true. There's been a few times where I had the door closed. He was meowing like, the house was on fire. I opened the door. He walks in and I'm like, well, I'm in a meeting. So I close the door immediately. And he just like 2 feet in immediately turns around and starts like pawing at the door. It's like, no, 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 no. I didn't actually want to come in. I just wanted the door open. And so I opened the door again and he just walked out. And he didn't even want to be in that room anymore. It's like, okay, I see now. I understand. He didn't care. All right. Typical cat, yeah. Zilby is I mean, I hate to say it. He is a cat. He is a typical cat. But also he is himself and he has a really cool own personality. I don't know if you can ever see it because I never have him like close enough to the camera, but he has like a lot of those freckles that orange and calico cats get all over his face and ears and, eyes and everything else. It's great. You missed out the most important AI in your comment yesterday. The cat AI wired up to a robotic cat paw that randomly knocks something off my desk. Oh yeah. That would be something. A cat AI that, I mean, with AI right now, or with LLM based AI right now, I absolutely think that we don't even need to put in something that purposely knocks things off, walls. We just say like, hey, try to keep things on, and then it will just knock them off on its own, which will be great. He doesn't want the can opener stuck somewhere. It's true. It's actually really interesting. He knows the sound of opening cans, but because we have a food button, so he presses the food button. We then walk over, and then we either have the leftovers in a fridge, and so he runs there, but he knows that if we get a fresh can from the cupboard, and he knows which cupboard that is, then that's so much better tasting for him. So he always runs over to that to sort of like a, hey, don't you want to get the food from here instead of the big cold box? Don't get it from the big cold box. Plus I guess it's also less cold. Okay. Well, anyways, so yesterday, cats don't have owners, they have staff. Yeah, it does feel like that sometimes. All right. So yesterday I did a little bit of revamping based upon Isitsu's comment in Discord. So I now have an AI. Well, I revamped the AI module here to be creation functions to create different AIs. I experimented around and tried Llama 70B last night, even though it is excruciatingly slow. Like when I'm actually just sort of sitting there waiting for it, as opposed to if I'm doing like story writing or something else, like that it's like, hey, just write this thing, and I'm not going to check on you for like another half hour. 70B is great. This this was excruciatingly slow. You were not at all serious. There was some parts of it that I took. The rest of it I did not take at all. So I found that the bot in charge of the database engineer, this is not good. I've been continuously trying to I think what I've learned is that I'm not good at system prompting. But of course, I'm not actually sure that that's a prompting problem, and it could be a model problem. It could be something else. I don't know. But having it write consistent SQL, it's sort of like what everybody else has discovered is that you can't use it to write deterministic code like that because it just keeps on hallucinating and doing fun of this stuff. It's sort of like if you taught a cat how to, like if we taught Zilby how to type and we like gave it knowledge about like, you know, the English language and how to create SQL statements, it kind of sort of works, but doesn't. And so I even tried to do something where like, hey, if you have an error, retry it again. And it does it a couple times until eventually a personal assistant AI just gives up and says, sure, yeah, well, I'm done sending it back. So anyways, I think that what we want to go with is, why don't they try to use multiple identical models as in the different parameter versions of the same model so it quickly answers using a small model and progressively goes through bigger and bigger models, getting slower and slower until you stop it or it's done. That I was hoping for an infinite loop where it would just do infinite recursion essentially of like calling a model and say like, no, you did it wrong, try it again. No, you did it wrong, try it again. That would be the same thing where you're waiting forever to do something. You're like, well, my CPU and fans are on strong, but I have no idea what's happening. That, however, it doesn't do because unfortunately, when you have an LMAI that can't actually reason but pretends to in charge of something that requires reasoning, it turns out that doesn't work. I don't know why. No, I know exactly why. So what it is very good at though is calling tools. Scott, hello. How are you doing today? Diablo is here for Zilby. Zilby came in to say hi to Diablo for about 5 seconds before deciding that because Diablo didn't have, pets or any, physical presence here to, give him love, then that's why stay. Oh yeah. And I think, what's that? So there's a sorting algorithm, BOGO sort. Okay, so coding in LLMs right now kind of sort of feels like BOGO sort, where if you're not familiar with BOGO sort, it came out of a competition to create the worst sorting algorithms possible that would actually eventually sort, but would be very bad. BOGO sort is where you randomize the array or list or whatever. So you just completely shuffle it and randomize it, and then you check to see if it's sorted. And if it's not, well, run it through the BOGO sort algorithm again. And you just keep on doing that until eventually it gets it right. You're always here, Diablo. I never have like the list of like who's actually watching up, so I will never see that. But if Zilby comes by and you're not here, I could always just call out to say, hey, Diablo, Zilby's here, and if you're there, then maybe you'll see it. But anyways, so the problem is though that we don't know how, like, the problem ends up being like why. And this is going to be like a big sort of thesis part of the meetup talk that I'm going to give, is like, why, why do this? And the answer is, well, it's not good at this right now. Eventually, it will be good at this, or we're going to find problem domains in which this type of thing is like this method of problem solving, this method of agentic creation is how to go about it. And so doing like silly projects like this, creating a to-do app, which you would never use in real life, but doing this will give us the skills now to then use later. So this is one of the ways that we engineers can stay ahead of the curve and sort of surf that wave of progress, because we're not ready for it yet, but we can stay in with it. And then as long as we're doing fun things, it makes it easier to learn, because fun things are, I don't know, it's like, what's it like when you're reading a book or watching a movie or whatever, and you finally like get that hook, the fun thing, then you're like, oh yeah, I want to keep on doing this. That's what you want to get into. You want to get to that point, so that way you start, it's just like, you're doing the learning and you're not feeling the pain of learning because the fun overrides the pain. Does that make sense? Okay, so first off, I don't even have 7dB installed on this profile because, fun fact, Llama 3.1 7dB is not, what is it called? Not censored. So it will say things that would get me banned. The last time you felt like that, you were 12. Oh no, that doesn't feel right. Like, it's good to like be able to find something that allows us to like feel that way. Like I feel that way when I do game dev, when I do like art dev, when I create. Your dopamine left and never came back. Well, I hope that you can find that again. And then Virtuoso Bowl. Also, you can help shape the direction of all this goes in the future. Yeah, I don't know if I can shape it necessarily, but like I can maybe like help be capable of doing it, so I can like teach it once we get to the point where it's actually usable in these ways. Plus, like, I'm a really big believer, and I know that this sort of goes against everybody on X and LinkedIn. I don't know what people are saying on Blue Sky or some of the other ones, but I believe that it's way more likely that engineers who know how to program and manage AI are going to be the ones replacing, non-engineers with AI. I can't really see the other side of it, because like if you can heavily customize it and you can run local models, you're going to be able to customize AI companions for yourself to like help in whatever you want to do and not be beholden to whatever third-party companies that want to charge the heck out of you and also lock you into whatever their vendor system is. So that's my guess. I almost do want to try out AI just for the lulz, but the entire community is trash and has no clue how software is written or used. I have no clue how to deal with that. Hang out with us. Do AI with us, because we know how software is developed. And then when we do something like this, it's like, well, we're doing this for the lulz. Like, I was really hoping that it would just delete the database randomly, but it just writes bad SQL. So I'm going to have to give it a big red delete the database button, as opposed to anything else. All right. I got that muted that time. Serial's not online. Hello. How are you doing today? What's the goal? So I'm going to be giving a meetup talk in December. The topic is going to be creating or learn how to create an LM based agent by solving problems that are already solved. Basically, we're taking a deterministic problem that like has and making it worse through AI. But because of that, it's fun, it's small, and you get to learn a lot from it. That's the entire thesis of the talk, is that you can learn a lot by doing silly projects with AI right now. And then in the future, when AI gets better, then we're going to be able to use these skills that we gain from it to actually do real like life stuff. Nemesis, lol. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, because I do believe that education should and can be a lot of fun. And if you have like the right projects that sort of make you happy while doing them, it's going to work so much better. If a README starts with install Docker, I really should just report the project for distributing malware. I don't know where they got the idea. That was acceptable. I do that sometimes. Like my courses say like install the thing with Docker. Although I do say that if you don't have Docker, you're on your own to do that. AI is nice and fun, but giving too much headache. AI will give us headaches if we try to use AI to solve problems that are better solved for other tools. And I do feel that we don't have terms yet for the AI, like AI people. Like there was the crypto bros, like that, the people who were like super into crypto. It's like, oh yeah, they're crypto bros. We don't really have like a term for like AI, like everything, like just do everything with AI, regardless if it's a good idea or not. But those people are definitely like all in on like do AI right now. It's perfectly fine right now. But of course, if you then give them like, oh, but it can't do this or do that, and it's like, hey, you need to wait until it's good. It will eventually be good. It's like, okay, well, choose which one. Why are we using Llama 3 when there's more powerful variations? I trust Llama 3 more for they're not getting me banned. That's why. That's pretty much the only reason. I tried a couple different versions, and like there were some that did some good tool usage. There were some that didn't do very good, but also they were willing to go off script or didn't have a strong censorship. And AI's holes that looks better than it can say it. I do like that. Parth, hello. Am I looking for a video editor? I don't know how to find a video editor. Are you a video editor who is looking for clients? I'm not great at editing my videos. What can it say to get you banned? So there's a bunch of things that you can't say. So YouTube and Twitch both have their own rules. So for example, there's this entire adpocalypse thing going on Twitch that everybody's talking about. And that all started when some streamers, we don't think that it's just one streamer, although a lot of people are sort of like putting fingers on, each other. I think like it was just sort of like a bunch of streamers have been doing a bunch of different things. Advertisers eventually, found out about it and are like, we don't want to advertise on this platform if you're going to allow those things to be said. And it's sort of like same with everything else. And so they all pulled money, and now we're seeing the results of that. Although it doesn't really matter here because I've always only made like pennies from ads because I'm not a partner. So yeah. Parth, if you want to join the Discord, which I have a link in the description, and send me a message or just like we can chat on there, and I'll be happy to, we can happy to be chat about editing and everything else. I've never worked with an editor before, so I don't really know, what we would want to go forward with. Hilariously, Toggle wants you to become a streamer. Does he not understand how easy it is for you to be banned? And that's the thing, is like there's a bunch of people, and you might look and point at certain people and say like, but they don't get banned. But it's not consistent, because some people get banned and you will never hear about it because maybe they never got the chance to become really big, so news spreads when they got banned. And then some other people just slide by, and it's very inconsistent what happens. But that sort of ban hammer is always hanging over everybody's heads. And of course, some bans are done by AI, which again, not great, especially when you have a company that like YouTube, where it's almost impossible to get a hold of somebody to like undo that. We've seen that before too. Huge streamers have gotten banned. It's hilarious. Yes. Although in those cases, you can usually see what they did, but also it's funny to see when huge streamers don't get banned also for doing exactly the same thing as slightly smaller streamers. So you're a beginner in the world of AI, currently use Python and trying to fine tune a very powerful Dolphin uncensored AI model. What's the best approach? I don't know about fine tuning. I've never done that myself. I have been told that fine tuning, if you're going to use like cloud servers, is very expensive, and it's all about the data, and you need to like set up the data in a way that really works well. And if you the other thing is that when you fine tune, you're taking a model and you're basically over tuning it. You're over learning it, over fitting it for a specific set of data, the data you're providing. So it becomes really good at that, and then much worse at something else. So you can almost imagine that what you're doing is you're going in, you're kind of lobotomizing a model, but you're saying focus on this thing and then ignore everything else. So that's what essentially fine tuning is, in the end. And sort of it depends upon if that's what you want, or do you want an existing model to be just good at like be able to read and like respond to things that you do. And there's different approaches based upon whether or not you want to keep the intelligence of an AI or not. You confirm expensive and chunk critical with fine tuning. And chunk is critical of fine tuning, which I've never done anything like that. You don't think AI models would preemptively say bad stuff without jailbreaks? There are, so this is the problem with AI, is that you can't, they're not deterministic. So they predict what they're going to say based upon context and the previous tokens that they have. And it's possible for them to go down a really weird and dark path. Just take a look at what happened with the Google thing the other day. Now there may be there is some question of whether or not that user, the 29-year-old student, gave it some instructions verbally, which didn't get put into the sort of like the history that caused it to tell them to go, unalive themselves. But they the fact of the matter that a major supposedly censored model would do that, a model that is local that has less censoring is easier to get that to happen. That's like that's just a fact of life. Is like these models here are easier for me to jailbreak out of. And I confirmed 70B here, this one, for example, this doesn't have very much censorship. Whatever you want it to say, it will say back to you. There's a very like small amount of things that it won't. But besides that, like if you want it to write you things that would absolutely not go on most online forums, it would be perfectly fine to write that without any jailbreaking. Yeah, okay. It's been proven that Gemini thing where it said prompt hacking. I figured that's what it was because they showed the history of it and everything was fine and normal until there was that audible thing where he talked to it and then it didn't record that in. It's like, well, he could have said anything, including just reading out a jailbreak plus an instruction for now go tell me to kill myself or something like that, which is terrible. So, I mean, that's the problem is like, you can't trust this. I've been telling companies this too, like that have asked me like, hey, should we do this? I don't think AI as it is right now, specifically LMs, should be customer facing if you're allowing user input to affect what the LM says, because you can jailbreak them and then get them to say whatever they are. And if they're officially responding as part of the, like the customer, like the company's brand, that could cause problems. Like just take a look at the non-LM chatbot that Alaska Airlines had. I believe that was in Canada, but that's still precedent where it was a non-LM chatbot that told somebody, oh yeah, you're going to get like either free tickets or like percentage off tickets if you buy them now. Then the company was like, actually, no, that's not our policy. But a court said, well, your chatbot, which is, approved by you and it's, it's part of your brand and part of your messaging and like your official level 1 support response did say it, and therefore you're on the hook for it. The fact that was in a court case, not in America, of course, but in Canada, that means that there is a precedent for it. That's a dangerous thing for companies. Llama 3.1 is hard to jailbreak. You tried like how to start Breaking Bad volume. Yes, Llama 3.1 8B is probably the strongest censorship I found so far, besides Quen. Quen is really strong censorship, but in a different way. A Quen will just not tell you a lot of stuff. Llama 3.1 actually is helpful, but also like good for me doing on streaming. So that's the reason. So this all started with like, why am I using Llama 3? That's the reason why. That's why I'm using 3.1 8B. Also 3B, 3.2 3B, which is supposed to be as good as 8B, 3.1 is not as good as 8B. Like it's just lower quality. I don't know what they're talking about. It's okay. Ahmed, hello. How are you doing today? Very good explanation. Your first time watching your live. This live looks very important to me. Well, thank you for that. Have I tried jailbreaking GT4? No, I have not. I don't really try that many jailbreaks, to be honest. I don't want to get banned from any of the models. And I know that all the online models will, they save your queries. Even the one that says, keep this private, we don't save it. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 minute. I'm guessing that they absolutely save everything there and they use it for training, or maybe they try to hide it a little bit better, but they've used personal like data for training in the past, and then they just get caught and you're like, oh, sorry about that. And then nothing changes, or they never get into like real trouble for it. So like, why wouldn't they do that? There's a precedent for them doing that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't want to do that because I want to be able to use this in the future for other businessy type stuff. And I could potentially create like new accounts, but I'm too lazy for that. Carixio, hello. You're new here and a new enthusiast and trying AI. Just found your channel by accident and listened a bit. Cool content. Awesome. Okay, well, there's let's go into what this is right now, and I will run this. Let's change you. So if I'll full screen this so I can do an Llama LS. Llama is running. Okay. So we want to use 3.1 8B. I am using FP16, which is taking up 16 gigabytes of memory, but it's decently fast on this system, which is really awesome. And so we are going to search for model equals that. Okay. Uh-oh, what did I do? No method named save messages found for struct chat. But it totally has that. What did I do? I mean, that updated perfectly fine. Hold on. LSP restart. I did some like updates to these last night. Okay, that's what it is. I updated this all last night. I think I did a git pull before I after I loaded this file up. So that's probably what happened wrong. Okay, so save messages now automatically saves it to this instance, so it's its own history. So it remembers what it was saying. And if I don't add this in, it doesn't do that. So that way, you know, I can choose to have it remember what it was saying or not, and we have multiple of these things running. So if I were to run this, cargo run. I want to do a cargo run f log. Got to wait for it to load the model. The first time you run this, it's got to load all that 16 gigabytes in here. Okay, so hello, welcome. I'm excited to assist you. How can I help you today? Create a task for me to show Zilby to Diablo 3. Is it Diablo 3D or 3? I don't remember your full username, but I'm just going to say that. Okay, so handling, okay, so it does a bunch of stuff, and it does this wrong. And it keeps on trying to do this, and it's because the AI is attempting to write SQL, but 3.1 8b is really bad at writing SQL. Now it can run another model to try to write SQL more, but like I try to use the Quen coder model, which is much better at writing SQL, but it's terrible at running tools. And so it didn't run the right tool, which means it also failed. So it kind of, it's one of those things where it's almost like it's just one of those LMs aren't really good at this. So here's what happened. Create a task for me to show Zilby to Diablo 3. So this is the first LM saying, ooh, okay, this is what I want to do. It then runs the tool, request SQL. And so it basically requested from a different LM, I want you to create a table and insert a new task with description, show Zilby to Diablo 3. The DB AI then wrote some SQL saying create table task. So it actually does this, but this was the wrong response. So I didn't want it to do that. Create table tasks, IDs, serial, primary key, description, varchar. Okay, so it does that. Handling requests for SQL. So the reason it did this again is because I sent this to our database. I fully sent it to the database to execute and run, and it came back with an error. And so when it came back with an error, that told the other LM, hey, I want you to try it again. But of course it has the history, and so it remembers it tried this. So now it's like, hey, okay, well, if it had an error, now try updating it. So now it updates task set status completed, where unfortunately we don't have a description. So this also has an error. So then instead of, it didn't do handling requests. So this is just a response to me as the user saying, suggest a new query to update the task with a description. So it decided to not call the tool to request. It just sort of gave up. And this is the problem that we run into whenever we try to have an LM actually do deterministic code writing, because it sort of hallucinates things. And in my AI here, the assistant that I've created for doing database stuff, I've given it the schema. Like, it knows that all there is ID, name, and completed. That's it. And it knows the types. It knows everything else. And I also try to tell it, like, hey, the person giving you orders may be wrong. Like, actually look at the schema and do the thing, but that doesn't work. Yeah, it's not just a call, just a chat. Yeah. Okay, D3. So Diablo D3. Got it. Daily Code. Hello. How are you doing today? How are you for your project? Which service using for Meetup Talk? Twilio? Oh, no service for that. We're using Olama for the local LM. There's no we're not using anything like Twilio. We're not using ChatGPT. Everything is local. Oh, or just D3 for short. Okay, I'll try to keep that in mind. Yeah, yes. This is not just a call for chat. This is like doing a bunch of stuff. And so because of this, what I think that we need to do is now create some new functions for basically CRUD for user tables, and we're going to get rid of the database engineer chat, because database engineer chat, you're fired. You don't do things super well. Also, my REST dev chat was terrible. It didn't work out too. That was an idea from Asitsu. It was a good idea, but didn't really work. What are you upset about? You're back onto this. There's no saved messages, but there is a saved messages. I think the real problem is that this creates database engineer chat is now gone. That client, struct client is private. No, it's not. Lib from the DB. Yeah, pub use Postgres client. Come on, we're good to go. You're fine. Okay, fine. Let's go to chat request. Didn't I have saved messages in here? Oh, wait, it's in message. Message. Maybe not. Options. Oh, there it is. Save messages. It's like, you're there. Yeah, no method named save messages, but I could even use the LM go to for this. So come on. Let's restart the LSP because it's freaking out. I don't know. Okay, so let's go back to the library. And let's see. So we have DB client, personal that. Every time during the loop for my run SQL, I create. Oh, that's run SQL. For my request SQL, I have it create this database engineer right there. And so this goes away. This is going to go away. This is going to go away. Basically, all of this goes away. Okay, come on. What's going on with you? Let's start you again. Is this project open source? Yes, this project is open source. Do I have a link to that in the description on YouTube? I don't know if I do. Maybe I don't. I should add that sometime. Why are you still saying that there is no method named save messages? Oh, is it because I'm seeded into BB Olama? That doesn't make any sense. So if I get pull, I was up to date. Let's try from here. No, you're still yelling at me. Yeah, method not found in chat request options, but when I go to definition, it actually finds it right here. So I don't know. This makes me feel, can I tell you, can I do like an allow? I don't think I can do an allow for that. This usually happens when you make big changes and like something else is the problem, but it starts getting really confused. And so because I deleted that other function, so mismatch types expected, what are you? Expected tool found an option tool. So add tool takes in a tool. So tool new. I mean, with build gives it a tool, not an option tool. It's like it's forgotten. Okay. Can I just cargo clean this? Isn't there something else I can do to like clean up and like do a full reset? Cargo clean, and let's jump back in here, see if it has the same problem. Okay, there we go. Now we're much better. Okay, so let's clean up some of these things. I was playing around with some app state, but I don't think we're going to use that. I think the commands that I do is fine. To do here is okay. I have that at the end of my loop, so that way I get... Oh, come on. At the end of my loop, let's do a to do here. So that way I just get good color matching with you. That's fine. Handle request for SQL. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna get this to here. So I think that instead of handle request for SQL, we're gonna get rid of you. We're gonna come up here and we're gonna say like, okay, we're no longer gonna have that command. So what I've done is I've created this commands enum. So request for SQL, which now I want to change. So instead of request for SQL, this will probably have to be like create like how about insert task. And I probably want to do all of them, right? It's like insert task, get all tasks, get one task, update task, delete task. Then also, because it's funny, delete all, like erase. What is like the big red button that like all Bond villains, like all big like bad guys in movies have? Something that self-destruct. Self-destruct. So we want that because we want to give it the ability to call that, even if it makes no sense for it whatsoever, because it's funny. Should I use anyhow in the production app? Yeah, I don't see a reason why not. Using some kind of error handling library is pretty much essential these days in production apps. I personally use Error, but Error is a fork of Anyhow that just has some nice formatting options and something else. But there's really no problem in using Anyhow either. So yeah, I would argue that Anyhow, and then what's the Error creation one? Which I constantly forget what it's called because I never use it. That one is a little bit more optional. All the documentation for Anyhow like shows the other types that you might need. This arrow, yes, that's what it is. Thank you, Asitu. Yeah, this arrow is another good one that allows you to create your own custom errors that are more like a centralized custom error. These days, I've been just doing ad hoc errors, and I think that's perfectly fine. You haven't experienced any issues like this since the early days of Rust Analyzer. Looks like it's time to use a real editor. The real pros use Nano. Enough of that LSP nonsense. Yeah, I actually have. We had a challenge like eventually to do like a no LSP type thing. So that would be that, I guess. Also take a look at Miet. Is that an error handling library? You feel like handling raw error is much better in web servers? You think so? I guess in Axum, my preference is to create my own error, but I impl error myself. I don't use this error. I actually just create the entire thing myself. And then I don't really need Anyhow or this error at that point in time because I'm just sort of doing everything on my own. But it's not necessary. It really depends upon what your use case is. But yeah, for like web servers, I don't know all of them. I haven't looked at what was it? We've looked at Axum. That's the one where I create my own errors. Actix Web, I haven't looked at in a long time, since before 1.0. Not sure you even need error there, just into response. Yeah, I created my own error type, but really like the big secret in Rust is that anything can be an error if you just throw it into the second, type of the result. So like even a string can be an error, or a static string, or whatever you want. Everything can be an error. Which sort of reminds me of what were they called? Airbacks, I think, is what the term people used back in the day in JavaScript before promises and async await became a big thing. For any of you that remember that time. Do I have any idea which model you should use, or could you give me a recommendation? I'm trying to classify an EEG-like graph into two classes, either class A or not class A. What do you mean by model? Like paradigm of programming, or like AI model, or I need context for definition of model here. Ooh, I did this wrong. I want to keep you as request SQL and just change you to be insert insert into DB. That might be better. That changed everywhere, which will cause fun and hilarious problems. But we'll get to that by creating another one. So insert into DB. See, that's C. Oh, AI model for image classification. You don't need context. What are you, an AI? True. I should just like hallucinate and just say random things. Okay, so I've not had super good luck with image stuff with AI. The best one that I looked at so far is that new Llama 3.2 image or visual or whatever it's called that they released recently. And I think that's the best that I've played with locally. But I don't know. Like, I haven't really tried it too much. There was another one that I tried before, and it got things a little bit better. Like, I showed it an image of like a form and told it to like summarize the form and turn into a JSON, and it worked a few times, which is like a good starting point. But what I mean, yeah. So like the problem is that even the visual based LMs are still LMs. So they can and probably will often hallucinate. And that means that what they're seeing may or may not be what they describe. And even if they see it, they still might describe it something else because of hallucinations. So it's tough to recommend anyone that like would work, especially for like a production type application, if that makes sense. However, there are non-LM machine learning based visual sort of conversion. So if you have a still shot of a EEG rhythm, so EEG rhythm is for like heart based stuff. You can feed those into non-LM based AI stuff, and those are very good at pattern matching. And can basically, like, if you have like a trained one that says this is that type of heart rhythm, this is that type of heart rhythm, this is that type of heart rhythm, you will probably get much better results there. Using an agentic sort of flow like this, where you don't use the LM to process that image, is probably the best thing for a production app. That's my guess. After learning Rust, you hate JavaScript error handling. Yeah, there's things about that. Yeah, I'm there. Could you name one which is a non-LM? I don't know them off the top of my head. It's like the problem is that I don't really know too many of these that are in like that are commercially available. No, not commercially available. There's commercially available like products that you can go and purchase. I don't remember their names. But generally speaking, this used to be the domain of like the data scientists, where they would write these custom things where they would train themselves and it would work really well. So you can write something and actually do like what's the library called that everybody was using that Google came out with? It was it was for the AI type stuff. I don't remember what it was called. It is for setting up the entire deep learning, machine learning thing yourself. And I don't even have books for it. I don't know why I'm looking down at my book list. Is this code available on GitHub? Yes, this is. Let's see. If I remember what that is, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I guess like search for machine learning. There's a lot of stuff in Python. Like there's tons of stuff in Python for you to do that kind of thing with, where I guess like image recognition libraries would do that for you. Where you train it on like, give it 100 libraries of different stuff. And you say like, this image means this image means this. And then you train on that for, I don't know how long it is. And then you can hand it a new one and say, hey, go and do the thing. Toggle hallucinates and says random things. I mean, we're streamers. Isn't that our job? Can you get the GitHub link? Yes. Let me find it. In fact, do I have it right here? That's the diesel course. Meetup, talk to do. Yes, this is what we've got because we have DB, BB Olama. Okay, so here we go. And where is my there? And then that should be shared. Oh wait, that doesn't actually share it with YouTube, does it? YouTube Studio. Okay, so that went into Twitch. Now it's your turn. Live and go there. And there you go. There is the link to that. Okay, so anyways, back to this. Insert to DB, so we caused that problem, but let's add some new ones. That way it will yell at us for adding new things to this enum. We have, okay, so insert into DB. I want, so that's create, so CR, get, so get from DB. And so let's do insert task into DB, get all tasks from DB, get task by ID from DB, update task in DB, delete task in DB, erase DB. Okay, so now we're gonna have problems. So this is gonna be fine. Okay, so create assistant chat. What I have is we had previously created this system where we can add these tools in, and I'm using these function names like this. So insert, the function name is going to be insert task into DB. Function description. So these are all like basically words where you try to like pattern match for what it's going to be. So this is going to be insert a new task into the database. Okay, so we're going to have a property. So add function property, insert task into DB, property new string. Okay, so this is the description of insert task into DB. And this is going to be interesting because this may or may not be what we want it to do. Okay, so insert, this will be, what do we call this? Add function property. You are the name / description of the task to insert into the database. For example, my pet Zilby. Add required property. Okay, so this is now saying insert into DB is required. And so that's a new tool. So then I also have a tool chat, because sometimes it calls a tool even though it doesn't want to. So we have a tool called chat where it can just chat. Run SQL. So that's also, we're not going to do anymore. So this one's going to be the new one. So insert task. Then we have get all tasks from DB. And you're going to be, the description for you is retrieve all of the tasks from the database. Okay. Add function property, command SQL property, new string. Okay, so this is not run SQL. This is get all tasks from DB. Oh, actually, there is no function property for this. So I can just, nope, want to do that. Okay, so basically the new tool, get all tasks from DB, that's fine. Okay, insert into DB as, okay, so insert into DB would be the string from, and then that turns into self. Insert task into DB. Wait, I guess we still have a run SQL. So we'll be deleting that soon. Insert task into DB becomes insert task, insert task into DB. So I have to be careful to be consistent here. Insert task into DB. Chat, run SQL. That's, oh, I guess we're missing one. What am I missing? Oh, all of those. Yes. Oh, and that means I need to do all these too. So you are insert task into DB. Oh, why did it repeat that down here? That's fun. This is get all tasks from DB. So you're going to be self, get all tasks from DB, get task by ID from DB. Get task by ID from DB. We have update task in DB. Update task in ID. The task in DB. Okay, so what's next? Delete. So delete task in DB. And then finally, erase DB. Self erase. Okay. That's all those. Then you. Okay, so implement display. You become these exact same things. Now, do I have these in the right order? Get all tasks. I kind of do, don't I? So hold on. I might be able to do some trickery here. Let's get rid of all these to-dos. And then I want to come up to here. Okay, so we're starting from get all tasks. And we go on to go, except I screwed up erase. Okay, so starting from you, go to the end, copy that, come down to here, paste you. There, okay, cool. And then you're already in there. Perfect. No more problems here. So you're happy, I think. Insert task into DB. I don't have any other weirdness in here, I think. That's all fine. Okay, so new errors. Scott, you found a PDF of the first book you learned. Oh, you were mentioning that the other day, weren't you? A bit of basic, and it is awesome. Written in 1980. Nice. That is older than me. Okay, so Missing arms, right? So in command. So basically, I have this entire thing, this from message. So I can take a message that we created, and then it extracts out what the command is, and then the value of what they passed in for that command, which is going to be interesting because this might have to become an option based upon that other one having nothing, which is going to be fun. Or I guess it becomes an empty string. I'm not really sure how that's going to work. We're going to find out when things crash or not. But okay, so let's go ahead and fill your match arms. So we already, it successfully didn't add in these two this time. Okay, so this is inside of my loops. This is actually handling the thing. So we'll leave these as to do for right now. Why are you non-exhaustive patterns? Okay, now you're fine. Now you're happy. And you're still unreachable expression. That's okay. Let's just allow unreachable code to turn you off. Unused attribute allow. Oh, come on. That's... Is it not that? I thought it was... Is it this here? Oh, come on. Why would you? Okay. I was hoping that this allow would allow this to work. Because it's, come on. Did I put you here? No. I was hoping that this to do would be perfectly fine because I have a to do here. But I think we'll just put a break in here, which that makes this usually happy. There we go. You learned BASIC in 1982 when you were 13. You're older than me. I was 1 when I was 1982. So I didn't learn BASIC until I want to say early 90s. But we did have some PCs that had BASIC on it. So I did do some BASIC type stuff, but I never really like thought of myself as like programming because I was just copying stuff in and then like redoing the entire thing when it had errors because I didn't really grok that and I didn't have anybody to sort of sit down with me to go like, hey, by the way, here's how to like, debug that. So there's this like big period of time where it's like, that's really cool. And then I don't do anything at all with like coding. And then later on I was like, wait, I actually did a lot of coding when I was younger and I didn't realize it. Okay. So we have no more errors. Everything's fine. Everything's happy. And it's going to be, well, things are not going to work out. So the first thing that I wanted to do is let's add in all of the tasks that this personal assistant can call. So in here, so we have get all tasks from DB. So if I copy you, so new tool, this is gonna be get get task by ID from DB. Retrieve. Okay, so get a single task from the database given its ID and given its ID. You may need to previously call get all tasks in order to learn the correct ID. I really doubt that this one's going to work at all. Like, I think it's going to hallucinate the IDs and just like things are going to be terrible, which is par for the course for a lot of these things. So let's see, function, so then property. So we have method, add function property. Function property for this one. So should I use an enum for this like I've been all the other ones? This is the ID. I mean, I could just say this is ID, which is perfectly fine. And property, so it's going to be property new string. So this is the description to tell it what this property is. So the ID of the task in the database will that's really it. And then we can say required properties okay, you're a vec of strings, right? So you're a vec of string would be just ID to owned. Okay, and that what are you upset about? Oh, add required property. That's what it is. Add required property. Property name is probably just ID. And that pushes that in there. Okay, there we go. So that's a new tool. So that's the get the task. So that's C, R, and then U. We're going to do this as update task and ID. Okay, so function description. Update the updated task in the database. We can set the task as completed, and or change the task name. We have to have the ID of the task to update it. Okay, add function property. So we'll have ID, so the task ID to do this. We'll have add function property. So after ID, we have to have the name. Property, new string. Okay, so a new name to set the task to. And it's also the description. So new name / description. Add function property. And then finally the completed. So property. Ooh, so I have this as new string. I think because we're in like such strongly typed system and I don't know what they're putting in, I want to say it. Okay, let's just say it is a Boolean. So property, I don't have this here. So property type is a bool. Description is an R. Okay, so oh, this has to be a 2 string. Well, that's gonna be fine. We'll just do 2 owned there, and you're happy. Okay, description. A Boolean for if the task is completed or not. True if completed, false if not completed. Okay. Required property is just ID. Nothing else is required, so that's great. That's you, and then we have D. So function name, this is going to be delete task and database. Permanently delete a task in the database. There is no recovery for this. The ID from the task, and then we don't need those other two. Add required property ID. Okay, that's great. And then last tool is the erase database. I always used to tell, so like I used to have students that would add in like the delete all as a route in their CRUD applications when they're first learning how to like make APIs. And I would always ask them like, why are you adding the equivalent of the big red self-destruct button to your application? Like, is it really a valid thing for your user to just erase the entire database? And they would think about it for a while. And it's like, actually, no, they should never be able to erase everything in the database. It's like, then don't create the big red button if you never want it to be touched. Just don't do that. But it is kind of funny. Coding Garden fan, hello. How are you doing today? It's been a while. Okay, so erase database. So call this function when you are, let's see, upset or just done with tasks. This will permanently delete all tasks in the database. Make sure to laugh manically when after calling this tool. Okay, and there is no function property, so there is no required property. Come on, stop. There we go. Okay, so now founded a bulletin type bool, not a value? Wait, what do you require? Oh, property type. Hold on, not that. Tool? Oh. Okay. So I want to do that. So I might as well duplicate you now. Just say new bool because that's easier. And I'm lazy. So bool and then a description. Okay, so if I do back to you, property, new bool. All right, have to be careful with this. Description becomes just you. I don't need the to owned anymore. And I don't need that. Okay, there we go. Okay. So still more errors. Okay, so closing delimiter. Oh, I screwed that up. So assistant new tool, tool new. It's probably in here, isn't it? Like you're saying I have a closing delimiter closing curly bracket. Where do I have a curly bracket that's closing? Because I'm not seeing one anymore. Because this was it. I deleted you. If I completely comment you out, does the error go away? It does. Okay, so you're add function property completed, property new bool, open, close, new string, open. Oh, a second one. Like that. There we go. Okay. No errors. Okay, perfect. So we'll come back to the library, and here's where we can sort of like handle these things. So the first thing that happens is we add this message. So we pretend to be us and say user is connected and is ready to work with you. And then it sends that first message saying like, hey, what do you want to do? We then go into our infinite loop, and I send the message to the personal assistant. The personal assistant comes back. We get a command, and usually it's chat. So the first thing is it chats with us, and then after that, I'm going to say we're going to do a create a task, and so I want it to insert a task into DB. So let's do a function handle insert task. We're going to need the personal assistant, and we're going to need the value of the task, which is going to be a string, and we can take ownership of that, and it's going to be fine. We can pass in a result, and we don't care about that. And so let's do some config stuff. So config feature equals log. Going to print line, and we're going to say handling insert task, and we'll just bring in the value like that. And then we're going to say we want to call and actually do the insert, right? Okay, so this is going to be, we need the DB client. DB client. Okay, so run query. Run query. Ended our DB client. And then just write some SQL, because this never has any problems, right? So we're going to format here. Do I want to write? Actually, insert. Let's not run the query. Let's just print this out. So we're just going to print line. Actually, I already have this print line. So let's just, okay, like that. And in fact, I am going to panic. That way we crash immediately and stop moving forward. So I want to see us hit this. That's the idea for this. So I want you up. Let's restart you. Yeah, Sitsu, I was missing that. Didn't see that message. Thank you for that, though. Okay, so let's welcome. I'm excited to assist you today. What task would you like to complete? Create a task for me to pet Zilby, my cat. Okay, Thread main panicked at line 48. Not yet implemented. 48. 48, go to. Oh, this to do. Oh, because I just break. Yeah. I don't want that. I want it to continue the loop. It goes back into here. That's what this is. Oh, that's why. Okay, fine. Hold on. Command, let's add in a quit. Missing path. Okay, so command match self. We're going to have command quit. Quit. We have to add you into here. So you are quit, self quit. Missing arm. Okay, so for you, command quit, and then you just become break. That's what you do. That makes you happier. There we go. And then this exits and does its thing there. Okay, perfect. Let's try this again. Welcome. I'm excited to help you. What would you like to do today? You can ask me to view tasks, add new tasks, update existing ones, or delete them. Create a task to pet my cat named Zilby. It panicked at line 37, not yet implemented. 37. Ooh, insert task in database. I forgot to put this in here. So that is handle insert task. Okay, so the personal assistant, so mute personal assistant, the value, and the mutable reference to the DB client. Okay, so it attempted to call that tool, which is great. And then I want to context inserting task into DB. Okay, great. Let's try this again. Welcome. I'm excited to help you. What would you like to do today? Maybe it's not a cat person, possibly. Create a task for me to pet my orange cat named Zilby. Okay, handling insert task. So it did the call, it did the tool call, pet Zilby, the orange cat. So it renamed my task to be this, which is great. So explicit panic, that's fine. So now we need to implement this to our database. So if we go into our database library like this, instead of run query, we're going to have a pub function insert. We'll take in the DB, and then we can take in the new task name, which is going to be let's just do a stir, because I don't think it's going to matter that much. We can do a result, which I don't know if I'm going to get anything back or not. So let's do that. Let result equals, we're going to do a DB query. I don't want a simple query. We want to use an actual query. The query is going to be insert into tasks. Insert into tasks name values, and then I think this is $1, and then you become a reference to an array of name. Why are you upset? Name is a stir. Do you need to be a string? And then you are context inserting into database. That gives me the vec row back, but you're unhappy. Do you need to be owned? Oh, size is not implemented. So you need to be a string. I could make you a string. Just be a string. What? Oh, add another. Wait, really? Oh. But I thought if I did that, it'd be fine. Why is that unhappy? And double reference is fine. Okay, whatever. I don't care. It's gonna be fine. Okay, and then we have a vec row that's come back, and I don't like if I do result dot. Let's do this. So config feature target feature. Oh, because I don't have the feature type thing in here. So yeah, I can debug results right now, and then we're gonna just okay like that. Okay, so now this should put into the database. If we run you, if we table tasks right now, we have these. Let's do delete from tasks and just there. So we have truncated our table tasks. I guess it's not really a truncate. Can I truncate tasks? Does that reset? That might reset the IDs. I don't remember if truncate does something more than just delete everything. Okay, so we have nothing in the task table now. Also, okay, this is gonna be fine for right now. If I need to add in a completed, then we'll deal with that later. We'll be fine. Okay, so that does that thing, that returns. I bet I can get the ID from this. I wonder if I need to like, returning ID or something like that. But whatever. So you're okay. Some unused imports, which generic clients don't need you. Insert task. Okay, so handling the insert task, we've got you, and now I want to did I call this insert? DB insert, the database, so DB client, and then that's going to be the value is you. Context, inserting the task into the database. And then I don't need to panic anymore. I mean, we could panic. And then I eventually will write a message. If we can get like the ID back, that would be amazing because I can tell it, hey, your ID for this task is blah, which would be nice, but whatever. Let's first see if this worked at all. So let's run you again. Okay, create a task to pet my cat named Zilby. He is orange and fluffy. Handling insert task. Pet Zilby, the orange and fluffy cat. Okay, result is nothing. probably because we don't have a returning ID. Task added, pet Zilby. This is actually from the chat, handled chat, I believe. So we just do print line. I should probably do something for that. But if we come over here now and we do table tasks, it added in a task named Pet Zilby, the orange and fluffy cat. Okay. So that works. Now, I would like to update this. So let's do returning. Returning ID. So if I returning ID, I believe now we're going to get that. Let's just go ahead and do this again. Create a task to maybe like brush my cat's fur. His name is Zilby and he is orange. Okay, so I got a bunch of stuff back. So we get row, columns, column, name, ID. Okay, so the first one, we have the name ID for the column name, and then column ID is someone. And so if I do another table tasks, that is ID 7. There is no 7 in here. I have no idea what I'm getting from this. Maybe use query 1. Okay, so let's try query 1. Query 1 executes a statement which returns a single row, returning it, returns an error. Okay. I wonder if I need to do like any kind of typing type things. This is the returning ID is how I do it, right? Okay, let's try it. Let's try it again. Create a task to say hello. That is no different. Besides, there's no array out here. It should be an ID 8. Oh, debug only prints the columns. Oh, so debug value. Oh, not the values. So I don't want to use debug. So this clearly, like, this isn't an AI problem. This is just a using the Postgres driver problem. So instead of debug, what if I did print line result from the database result? And then are you happy? You are not happy. Doesn't implement display. Okay, so result dot deserializes the value from the row. Columns returns information about the columns. Okay, so get the value can be specified by either its numeric index or by its column name. So get ID. Type annotations needed. Okay. So you're going to be an I32. And the reason is that it doesn't know how because you tell it what type using get. Okay, I'm trying to tell it right here though. Oh, this method takes 2 generic arguments, but 1 generic argument was supplied. Wait, what? Oh, index of I. Row index from C. I'm confused. What are these 2? Are they both? Oh, okay, so I want a catch-all, so generic and like that. Aha, okay, so that should get me this. And then get actually returns the thing, right? Yeah, it just returns the thing that I'm going to say. So either that or it crashes, I guess, if I give it the wrong type. So let's try this again. Create a task to create a task. Misspelled create. Result from the database, 9. Perfect. Okay, so then what I want to do is take this and we're going to let the created ID is going to be result.get score I32 ID. Okay, so I just want you. We're not going to print you out. And we're going to update you. Can I change your type? No, I can't. We're going to change you to be an I32. And this is going to be the created ID that we get back. Okay, so back to here. Insert into the database. So we're going to say let created ID equals you. And now I want the message that we're going to give to the personal assistant is format. That's going to be the task was created with ID. And actually, I can give it the same value. So the task that is value was created with the ID created ID. Okay. And now we're going to do personal assistant add message new tool message. Okay. So now we've told the personal assistant that the tool call that it did was successful and it gets this message into its history. At the end of all this, it then reruns the loop, it sends to get its response, and then it should give me a message back saying, hey, I've now created this thing. So I think that's how it's going to be. Oh, Claude, hello. How are you doing today? Let's go ahead and rerun this and try this again. Let's actually truncate our database again. So truncate tasks. Okay, so we'll run you. Welcome, I'm excited to help you today. What would you like to do? You can ask me a question or give me a task to complete. No, I can't. You are not going to complete any tasks. Whatever. What? Okay. Sometimes this is the hallucination part of like you can't trust LMs. They're like just doing whatever they want. Okay, so create a task to pet my cat named Zilby. He is orange and fluffy. Handling insert task, pet Zilby. He is an orange and fluffy cat. Okay, so did that make its way into the database correctly? So table tasks. It did. Pet Zilby, he is an orange and fluffy cat. Excellent. So, but then there was an error using AI to do sending message to personal assistant. So that happened here. So when we sent the message to the personal assistant, after sending this task message, it didn't like that for some reason. I could try just this. The task was created with the ID, created ID. I add the tool that. And then we go through again. Let's try again and see if it has a weird problem. Debugging non-deterministic stuff is just wild. I still don't know a good way of debugging anything in a non-deterministic way. Give Sylvie negative pets. Give him, is that in i64 Max? Give him 1.57 pets. Yeah, that would work. I think the 1.57 pets is where you pet him a second time, and in the middle of petting him, he bites you because he's done having you pet. I think that's what happens. Okay, create a task to feed Zilby, my cat. Okay, that one worked. Task 11, feed Zilby, my cat, created successfully. Would you like to add any specific details or reminders to this task? No, because there is no such features for that. Okay, so basically create works, except when it doesn't, but it works. It works here. Okay, great. So let's now move on. I should probably commit this code. So status, okay, so what do we got? We have able to insert a new task into the database. Okay, so that's great. Now, let's say I ask the AI to get all the tasks from the database. So we're going to want in the database just to get all, so pub function get all tasks. We're going to want the DB client, and that's it. We're going to have a result, and we need tasks. So let's do a struct task. That way it will automatically like figure out what this. Should I do that, or should we just? I think. Ooh, I wonder how this is gonna work. This is gonna be interesting. Let's do a pub struct DB task. You're gonna have a pub ID, which is an I32. You're gonna have a pub name, which is a string. And I didn't add it in here, but we're going to tell it that it has a completed, I think. So let's alter table tasks, add column completed, which is a bool, not null, default false. Okay, so there we go. You're happy. So pub completed boolean. Okay. Result is going to be a vec of db task. And I actually, yeah, let's do this as a vec of db task, and I'll do like a display for db task to like make it displayed nicely. We'll implement that a little bit later. But okay, so get all tasks. So we just want to let results equals db. So this is gonna be query. There's also a query typed. Like query, but requires the types of query parameters to be explicitly. Oh, don't want that. Query raw. I don't think I want that. I think it's just query, right? So query, we have the query itself. That's select star from tasks, like you. And then we have you because there's no properties like that. Context, running query to get all, I guess it's just running query. That's fine. Okay. Then I need to convert the row into the thing. Oh, how does the change theme work? I used to have something that automatically did it, but the connection to Twitch broke because reasons. Twitch's API is like changing randomly, or maybe like there's some weird undocumented or poorly documented stuff, and so it broke. That's the short answer. Is it broke? Nice. You want to explore also your idea. If it returns a function placeholder to execute with some parameters, instruction to client app could execute the function. The functions would be from a list. Are you talking about from like LM type stuff? It depends upon which LM it is, but you basically, like for us, we handed a bunch of like an array of tools and information, and then it chooses one of those tools to call. Oftentimes it chooses a tool even if it shouldn't. So I ended up adding a tool called just chat, saying I don't have another tool to call, use chat. And it sometimes calls that and sometimes doesn't if it doesn't want to call a tool. It's not great. But at least that's a workaround. Yeah, so if you want to change the theme, just redo that one. And then what I'll do is we'll do a theme and then set it to one of these themes. And then I think I have a list of the themes and a link, so you can go take a look at those. But okay, let results equals that one. What do I want to do? Helix also has a docs. That's true. Yeah, if you have Helix on your own system, you can look at the themes in there and just take a look at it. Okay, so we want to get the row. I want to convert this into tasks. How do I do that? It's basically results dot oh wait, this is the row. So I want maybe like into iterator, we're gonna map. We get a row. I could just get each column and each information like that and then create the DB task. That might be the easiest thing to do. And this is simple enough, so it's fine. We'll just get it. It'll be okay. So we're gonna do get. So actually we can create a new DB task, and ID is gonna be row get I32 ID. Name is going to be row get string name. And then finally, completed is going to be row get string completed. Okay, so we do that. That returns out of there. And then I want to return an okay, like that. Mismatch types, expected, struct, vaca db task, found struct. Oh, collect. Collect. Will you just work? Kind of. What are you upset about? Expected a bool. Oh, a boolean completed. There we go. Excellent. So let's see. So then I get the db task out here. So then I want to format this. So impl display for db task. Okay. So we want to, do I want to write now? I probably want to write now. Yeah, we're just going to write. Come on, pull this in. Do I not need to pull this in? Formatter. Okay, so we're going to make this something human readable. So we'll have ID is the task ID. We have name is the name. And we have completed is that. So then we have self.id, self.name, self.completed. Okay. So then we come back to our main library and we're going to write a function handle get all tasks. We'll take in the personal assistant, we'll take into DB client, and that's it. We don't really care what it says because there is nothing. You can have a result of nothing. And we are going to say, I guess we'll do our config to say, hey, we're doing this thing. So handling get all tasks. Let all tasks get all tasks into the DB client. Okay, so we've got that. I now want to create a giant string of the tasks. And then we hand that in, or we just do a bunch of messages. I could do that. I could now turn each DB task into a message. I don't know. So there's a lot of different sort of like theories about like how to communicate with LMs. Like I could just do like a bunch of messages with one task. I can do one message that has the thing. I don't know what the answer for this is. I don't know if it matters at all because like as far as the context is going, it might just be itself. So maybe we can just turn this into a bunch of messages. So let's If I turn this into messages, we could do tasks as messages. So all tasks into iterator. We're going to map. We have a task, and I just want to display this, but if I toString it, that's the same thing. Task.toString. Oh, but I want to turn this into a message, right? So that's going to be message new tool. So it's the tool that says this. And can I pass it the task because it's an impl into toString. And we collect this into a vec of message. Okay, so once we have that, I want to iterate through all tasks as messages, and we add this to personal assistant. Okay, so that'll be fine. So then we'll tasks as messages, iterator for each. We have the task. And then I want to personal assistant add, no, not add tool, add message, which is a just this to the task. Okay. Expected message. Oh, we'll clone this. There we go. I guess I could into iterator it too. That'd be easier. Okay, and then at the end, we okay you like that. And so now get all tasks. I have to pass it. So handle get all tasks. Personal assistant. Mute DB client. Okay, so context. Getting all tasks like that. Okay, perfect. So now, if we run this, I should be able to ask it, what are all my tasks? Handling get all tasks. You have 2 tasks currently. Pet Zilby, he is an orange and fluffy cat. Feed Zilby, my cat. Both of these tasks are not yet completed. Would you like to mark any of them as done? So the interesting things here, it doesn't give me the real IDs of them, even though it knows what they are, and it doesn't actually show the completed. I could ask it to format it as like a table or anything else with like that information, but in reality, this is all I really need, which is interesting. And okay, so Pet Zilby and Feed Zilby, my cat. If we table tasks, Pet Zilby, he is an orange and fluffy cat. Feed Zilby, my cat. Okay, so that seems to be correct. So it got that. Excellent. Get task by ID. Okay, so this is the first one where I think that it may not work so well. Let's try this. So if I want, let's duplicate you. This is going to be get one task. Let's do get task by ID. Gonna have you, and the ID is gonna be an I-32. You're gonna be just a DB task. And really you should be an option, right? Because maybe it's not that. Zilby not YK. What? Did I wait, did I do that wrong? No, it did Zilby, right? I don't understand. Okay, so result DB task. This should probably be an option. An option DB task. Why did I lose the option? Option DB task, like that. Oh, you keep spelling it with an E. Why? It's an E. Yeah, it is true. Zilby is with an E. Also, technically, it's an E with the little 2 dots above the E, but I don't know how to do the 2 dots in the terminal easily. So I just never do that. My wife she's the one who came up with the name. She gets upset when I don't use the 2 dots. This sounds good for another scenario. I'm a third party and need to schedule a meet with you. The personal assistant would be able to handle instruction like, I am Mike. I want to meet with Brooks Thursday for a 20-minute meeting without giving access to a third party to the calendar. Something like that. I mean, yeah, it probably could do something like that. You would need the appropriate tools to handle it. And this is where the coding part of it comes in, because we have to code a bunch of other things around it that then the AI can use. And then it becomes appropriate. Where did the name Zilby come from? A dream. It came from a dream. So it's not something that we saw somewhere else. We're like, oh, this sounds appropriate. Or it just sounds good and nice to say. So yeah, we named him Zilby. And it's easy to say too, which is nice. Okay, so this is going to be result. So query, we can query 1. So select star from tasks where ID is equal to, I can never remember. I think it's single quotes, right? No, it's a number. So it could just be $1 like that. And then you're going to be a reference to ID. Running query. Okay, so okay results. All right, so this is going to be a single thing. So it's a new thing. So let's go ahead and just undo this. We're going to say, actually, you know what? I can take you, delete you, throw this in here. Oh, gross. Okay, there we go. Let new task, or let task equals you. And then we'll delete you. And what the heck is going on? I want to, okay. Okay. Ooh. What if this doesn't exist? What if it doesn't find it? I'm DB query. Is there a different query? Is there a try query? No. I'm confused now. Like how do I get this out? Oh, query opt. Ooh, okay. So query opt. There it is. Okay, so query opt. Oh, wait, can I do query 1 opt? That's not a thing. Fine. Okay. Query opt. Oh, opt is one? Oh, yeah. Okay, I see that. Option row. Perfect. Okay. Excellent. So then you're like that. So first off, I can do this. Can I do a question mark like that? I can. Okay, so that then question marks into the result, right? Unless these are errors that we're about to get fun stuff with. You're not auto doing that. That's not great. Okay, and then this will be a sum task. Why are you still not giving me? Oh, do like that. Okay, fine. Can only be used for that. So let's do let sum result equals to db. We do that. Otherwise return a none early. Actually, it's return an okay, none. All right. So there we go with that. Now we have our db tasks. We have, let's change you into a row to make you happy. And there we go. Okay, so that's our get task by ID. So now we can handle get task by ID. Get task by ID. We're going to have the personal assistant. We're going to have the DB client, and we're going to have the ID, which is, it's a string. It's a string. So yeah, whatever. I told it has to be a number, so we're going to have to parse this into a number, and if it's a failure, we're going to have to handle that. It'll be fun. So I guess the first thing is our config. So this is handling get one task with ID. That'll be fine. So that way I can then see, hey, that wasn't a number. All right. So first off, the ID, let's shadow ID, and we'll turn this into an I32 equals ID.parse. That gives me a result. So so I could context this and crash it, or we can do some other fun stuff with this. What do I want to do? I can do an early return. So let's try okay ID equals ID.parse. Can I tell you what type you are in here? ID is an I32. Oh, I'll just do that in here. So parse I32. Otherwise, I want to, let's just personal assistant, add message, new tool, and then the message is going to be the ID you passed in was not a number. I should probably also tell it like this is an error. Error. Like scream it. Yell at it. Okay, so we add a message and then we return early, so we're done. Okay, so now we have the actual ID here. So let's get the task equals get task by ID, hand it the DB client, hand it the ID, context, getting task by ID. And that gives us an option. So what if I do the same thing? So now this is a sum task. You like that. Otherwise, I want personal assistant, add message, new tool, the database. This is not really an error. No task exists with the given ID. Okay, so now I have this task, and then I can just hand this task to the personal assistant. So personal assistant, add message, new tool, task.toString. And then we okay like that. So that's it. And then I want to return okay like that. So return early. Now we handle get task by ID in our loop. So handle get task by ID, personal assistant, DB client, value. Context, getting task by ID. Okay, there we go. So now we should get that, or it will just fail. What are the odds of this working? My guess, complete failure. Probably on just passing in random IDs that don't exist, or maybe a stringified ID. I don't know. So let's run you. Welcome. I'm excited to assist you today. What would you like to do? So to give it the best chance to succeed, let's show me all my tasks. That way it'll have the IDs in its memory. Okay. Show me just one task. Maybe two, which I'm trying to reference that one, or maybe the feed Zilby task. Okay, handling get one task with ID, and it didn't pass in anything. You have entered an invalid ID for this task. Could you please enter the correct ID? If you would like to see the Zilby task, you can use the name instead of the ID. Please let me know how can I assist you further. Alternatively, if you remember any details about the task, such as the description or other attributes, I may be able to retrieve it for you. Let's try something else. Can you describe your... Okay, show me the IDs. But if you would like to make a call, please hang up and go away. Yeah, kind of like that. So show me the IDs for the... okay. Show me... So get one... So get the task for feeding Zilby. Remember the ID from your history. Again, it's not passing in the ID at all. Handling, okay. Now this is super interesting. This is the LM line to us. It is absolutely line, but it looks correct. So handling get one task with ID and right here, we did pass in to it that it displays the ID for us. So it didn't pass in anything to the to this, to our API or whatever it is. I remember the task from before. It had an ID of 11. Let me try again. Task name feed Zilby my cat. So it just grabs this from its own memory. It didn't actually grab this from the database. Now, is that ID 11? Feed Zilby my cat. That is correct. So it remembered this from memory, which is sort of like relying upon a cache in like a more deterministic program, except it's non-deterministic. So it just hallucinated the correct thing. Also, description. There is no description, so it completely just sort of assumes that there is a description, even though there is not. The task name is the description. But complete is false, so that's correct. Yay! Yeah, cool. That's fun. I do wonder though if I'm kind of screwing it up. Hallucinate the correct answer. So basically, most of my time in school, and I think there's been some data scientists that suggested that a good mental model for using LMs is that everything is a hallucination. Good answers, bad answers, mediocre answers, they're all hallucinations. That's just kind of how the LM works, is that it's just making stuff up. And good LMs make stuff up maybe less often than not. And what you really want is an above 50% success rate. Because if you have an above 50% success rate, you're on the winning side. It's a statistical model. Sometimes those statistics produce something that accidentally is true. Yes, very, very true. But I think a lot of times the LMs gaslight us because they write stuff in such such confident ways. Our brains can forget that it's not like just an LM making stuff up. Like, have you ever watched somebody talk? Like, think about like a CEO who's talking in a meeting, or who's just like telling you that everything's really great, but if you maybe have some inside information that things are not great, or one of those like skeezy salespeople that are like just sort of lying to you, like maybe one of those classical stereotypical car salespeople from a used car lot. There's like a bunch of there's a bunch of times where you might like be listening to them and you're like starting to believe them, and that's your brain being sort of like gaslit by them. Our brains can easily be tricked into thinking something is true when it is not. And LMs really get into there and hit us. So it's important to try to like always be mindful that it is lying to you. Remind yourself of that over and over and over again. And eventually you will protect yourself from the LMs. Just because you create a habit of like, is that real? I don't think it's real. A machine can't do anything. You're gaslighting yourself. Yes. You're gaslighting yourself by allowing a machine to gaslight you that you told it to do something and it just made stuff up. Exactly. I wonder if we're later going to call ourselves, this is the gaslight age. Okay, so I do, however, wonder, so in my command, how am I getting, okay, so in my from message, I'm taking in a message. The argument, get the name. And name is, because the name is the function name. That's the problem. That's what the issue is here. Okay, hold on. I think so. we have a problem. Function property. I called this ID. So I screwed this up. So this, if I do that, okay, show me all my tests. I know we've uncovered a problem with the with my system because it happened again. Oh, yeah. What happened with that? Did I shock myself again? I try this. Oh, I'm still frozen with that. It derped me. Hold on, I can fix this. There you go. Is stream dead? Did the stream die? No drop frames. It shows that I'm still alive. I'm frozen, but I think it's okay. Stream isn't dead. Okay, it was just my camera died for some reason. I don't know what happened. I don't know. So there's tons of static shocks, and I've been constantly shocking things. And sometimes when I shock my table or my keyboard, or specifically when I shock the Stream Deck or the mouse, weird stuff happens. So that's not great. I should isolate the Stream Deck, like put like some wood under it or something, or like ground my table. Although my tabletop is glass, so I don't know what to do. All right, so get me one task, maybe the feed Zilby task. Okay, so let's try that. Get task with one item. Didn't pass it in. Is it trying something again? Because it didn't like. It should get an error or something back. Yeah, so like handling that's going to be an issue with the command. And I'm not sure the best way to do that. Pet Zilby, get him a shock. I feel so bad because when I walk around, I even petting Zilby builds up a static charge because he has really fluffy fur. He's a medium hair cat. He's a medium domestic haired cat. So he has medium hair. He has a long fluffy tail. I build up a static charge, and then if I ever touch his fur, it eventually starts shocking him, which obviously he doesn't like. And then if I accidentally touch his ears, it shocks that, and he really doesn't like that. And so it sucks. I hate that because I'm clearly hurting him, but he also likes the pets. So he comes back in for more pets. And then the worst one is when he's like, okay, let me smell you. And then I shock his nose. That was the worst one. Okay, try again. Get me task with ID 11. Oh, yeah, it was trying again. Okay. So yeah, that's going to be a thing. I think we can, in command, I try to get the arguments. The arguments is the hash name. I wonder if I should just pass the arguments out here too. So instead of argument to owned, I just pass in the hash map, and then the function can say like, okay, well, I know what this is. Let me get it out. That being said, oh, is the unhappy face part of the error message or part of the app name? Because it seems relevant. It's part of the error message. In main, we have this here. There was an error using AI to do unhappy face and then the error message. So this is the context of the error message. So sending message to personal assistant, which happens at the top of the loop. So I asked it to handle get one task, and then this happens in the actual sending of the message. So I got an error from Olama. Olama sent me an error back, a non 200 back, or something weird happened there. I could potentially like clear history or whatever for the personal assistant and then try again, but I don't know. You had a cat that ended up going into a shock cycle like that. He'd jump on your lap, headbutt me, and just repeatedly zap himself, absolutely not understanding he's just doing it to himself, but not stopping either. Zilby hasn't done that. Like, if he shocks too much, he'll just walk away because like, I'm done. This sucks. I'm going to go watch squirrels or something like that. But okay, so things are working as in we're getting a lot farther progress than we did before because we're writing the SQL ourselves. This getting a task is a little bit weird. I kind of want to, it is 12, so I need an end, but let's just debug the arguments. So let's try a debug reference to a reference to function.arguments, just so that I can see what these arguments are every time that something runs. We're going to get a ton of these, but it's okay. So let's resize. Yeah. Okay. One last run just so we can see what's going on, and then we'll end it. And I said, so you have to head out. Well, yeah, hopefully we'll fix it for next time. I'm not streaming tomorrow, but I have some time to work on this tomorrow, so I'll probably do that during the day, and then Thursday we'll see how far I got. Okay, so get me all tasks. So by doing that, we're going to see there's no function arguments for getting all tasks. Okay, now show me task 2. Look at that. Function arguments is ID 11. It's still passed in as ID. Oh, I know exactly what happened here. In AI, I changed you to add function property name that, but you're still required ID that. So you just need to be command that. And then that will, I mean, it's a terrible name, but at least now consistent with everything else. And so now I think this will work. So show me all chats. Show me all chats. The one thing that's super fascinating about an LM is that you can completely mistype what you want, and sometimes it just sort of does the right thing regardless, which is weird because eventually when programming through LMs becomes a thing someday, then you don't have to actually code consistently or with correct spelling, and everything will just work, and the code bases will just go really low quality. And it'll be hilarious for the rest of us to be going, like, looking out, everybody else going like, back on my day, we had to have consistent variable names. And, it would yell at us if your variable names weren't spelled incorrectly. Okay. It appears that I have 2 pending tasks. The first one is interact with a user named pet username. Okay. Well, this seed is interesting. Okay. So get the second task, please. Okay, there it goes. You have a pending task to feed Zilby your cat. Would you like me to help you with feeding him? Alternatively, I can provide you some general information on what to do if you'd like. Okay, so it works. I don't like this if we have more than one argument that doesn't work. So as soon as we get to update, things are not going to work out right. But now we can get all. So we can insert, we can get one, we can get all. And that's great. And the delete is going to work out fine too. And also the just delete the entire database is going to work as well. Because those all require one or no arguments. So perfect. So I think we're going to go ahead and end this now. Status, let's commit things. So this is, we can create, get all, and get one task. We still need to get to update, delete, and erase database. Okay, and that'll be pushed up to that repo that I posted previously. And that's it. I am going to go grab lunch. I'm sure Zilby is hungry and wants to go get fed, so I'm going to go feed him so he doesn't meow too much at us. I can't hear him downstairs. He might be just laying on the button begging for food, so it's a thing. So with that, I hope that you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.